this week's Parsha Matos Massei, the Torah tells us that Moshe became angry at the soldiers. Vayiksof Moshe al Pikudei Chayim. The next verse says, Vayomer Moshe, and Moshe said to them. Rabbi Zalman Sorotzkin asks, in looking at these two verses, first it says, and Moshe became angry. The next verse it says, and Moshe said, indicates that there was a separation of time between the first verse and the second verse. Otherwise, it would have said, Moses became angry, and he said. But it says, Moses became angry in one verse. The next verse says, and Moshe said. The lapse of time between these two verses was specifically carried out by Moshe because he saw that he was becoming angry, says Rabbi Zalman Sorotzkin. And therefore, he waited and then spoke. And the Torah says the word Vayomer, Moshe said, which is a soft word, a soft verbiage. So Moshe became angry, he waited, and then he spoke softly. Says Rabbi Zalman Sorotzkin, Moshe is teaching us that if we do become angry, a good idea is to wait, and another good idea is to speak softly. The Sefer Hasidim, one of the greatest books of all time, written in the 1200s, which speaks about the laws and customs and Jewish behavior and how to live our lives as Jews. This was written in the 1200s. He writes that when a person becomes angry, the Talmud says that you forget things, you forget your learning. And how does that happen? And the Sefer Hasidim explains that an angel is created, a devastating angel, a damaging angel is created when we lose it, and that causes us to, it affects us and causes us to act in a way that otherwise we would consider quite inappropriate, and it actually makes us lose our learning. Rabbi Simcha Zissel of Kelm had a practice that he made up that if he becomes angry, he's not going to say anything until he puts on a specific shirt, a specific garment. This way, for sure, that he would have to stall before responding to his anger. The great book Pele Yoetz, written in the 1800s, which is an ethical guide, explains that waiting when we become angry, in other words, holding off from waiting, douses the anger, and it has the same effect that water has to douse fire. If the Sefer Hasidim says that a damaging angel is created when we lose it, then how much more so then when we don't lose it, when we control ourselves, and even when we're angry, if we can manage to find the way to speak softly and sweetly, then certainly good, beautiful angels are created. May Hashem help us that, look, we interact, we deal with people, and sometimes we do become angry. May Hashem help us that we learn and find ways to control that anger, to push it off, and to respond in a soft, loving way. Have a fabulous Shabbos.